I just spoke with the mother of 17-year-old Emeshyon Wilkins, a teenager from St. Louis with no criminal history who had just turned 17 2 weeks before he was killed on June 18th, 2024, after a slow-speed pursuit with police. Wilkins had gotten out of a car and ran, and officers fired 4 shots. One struck him in the back of the head. Police said he was pointing a gun at officers, but newly released body camera video shows his hands were empty and his back was turned. Nearly 2 years later, the officer remains on desk duty with pay, no charges, no discipline.
He should still be here.
His mother, Shaina Wilkins, is still waiting for answers. I spoke to her and the family's attorney.
Tell me a little bit about your son. What was he like as a child?
Goofy. I always wanted to make you laugh. I was a child when I had him. I was 17 when I had him, and he was 17 when he got killed.
Mm.
And so we kind of grew up together.
Take me back to that day. Do you remember how you found out what had happened?
He went to school that day, and I work when they get out of school. They come home and they be at home. And so I was on my way to work, and he was finishing up the little stuff that he had to do, and he was supposed to have been back home. And I got a phone call on my way to work, and they told me that he was dead, and it still didn't register then. And I got on the scene, and I was trying to see him, and they wouldn't let me see him, and it was just a whole lot of talk about what had happened, but they made me leave the scene so fast that I really didn't get to learn what had happened until I got back home to my mom's house. And they told us that he got shot in the back 5 times. That's what they were saying on the scene.
How difficult was it beyond just that day to find out what had happened and what had led to this shooting?
It was hard. It was real hard because they kept saying that he turned around and pointed a gun, and I know my son, he wouldn't have did that.
When you watched that body camera video for the first time, what went through your mind as a mother?
My son gone. He gone. He never coming back. It was hard to watch that because they just treated him so badly. They did him wrong.
Knowing that he did have a gun, but it was disassembled in his pocket, as far as I understand, not in his hands. How does that shape your view of what happened?
Y'all killed him for no reason.
What do you want people to understand about who he was beyond this moment?
He wasn't a thug. He didn't have a bad history of anything like being a criminal or nothing like that. He was a kid, and he probably wasn't making the best decisions, but he should still be here right now so he could be learning from this mistake that he made.
The officer involved remains on desk duty with pay. What's your reaction to how this case is being handled so far?
I feel like they don't care. They don't care because it is no way that he should still be working. You shot a 17-year-old boy in the back of his head. You should not be working.
What does justice look like for you and your family at this point? What would accountability mean in real terms for you?
I want Officer Carson to go to jail and let the world know what you did. And it wasn't right.